You can see your grandson for the first time in a long time, and you can see he's so tall. He's gotten so tall. And the word so always magnifies the situation. And God so loved the world. I mean, it's a love that it's extraordinary. It's very different from any love that we could offer. And yet, when we get His nature, His love is placed in us by the Spirit. And we can begin to walk in love. Now, He said that you know Him, He's been with you, you've experienced Him, and you've seen Him in my ministry. He's going to come and live in you. And He came and lived in them when He said, receive the Holy Ghost. When He presented Himself, walked through the wall and presented Himself, they were in the upper room. Of course, Thomas wasn't there at the time, and they told Thomas about it, and he said, I'll believe that if I see it. Now, that's where we go wrong. And usually what we see is the accuracy of medical science and how they're really helping us or how they're really not helping us. And we're concentrating not on what the Lord is doing, but on what, and I'm not opposed to medical science. I have a doctor. If I needed him, I'd go. And if I don't go, he calls. They have somebody call. He said, and I'm very honest, they've learned me over time. I've been there for years. And he said, when would you like to come back? And I said, never. And then if he gives me a medicine that my spirit doesn't side in with, doesn't agree with, I say I have to go home and pray about that. Oh, that just really shakes them up. I said, no, and they make some excuses, and I said, I appreciate that. I appreciate your effort. I appreciate your diagnosis. I appreciate the medicine. I'm not going to take it till I pray about it. Now, you may not be that way, but I cannot contradict. The Holy Ghost is in me for a purpose, and I cannot contradict His nudging in my heart, in my spirit. And so I knew that medicine. I knew there's no way I'd take that on God's green earth. And so I was just being kind and making kind excuses. Now they're going to go out and do the work of God, but they're going to draw from the Spirit in a new way because He's in them. Now at Acts 1:8, what happens? Holy Ghost comes upon them. He's in them, and now He comes up and on them. He settles on them. You shall receive power, Acts 1:8, after the Holy Ghost comes upon you. So He is in you through the new birth. He is in there mostly for your benefit. Amen. And then He comes upon you for your benefit and for the benefit of the world. He comes upon you because He's such an aid in prayer. Now, He said in verse 18, I will not leave you comfortless. Now, what is the Holy Ghost going to do? It's in verse 26. The new covenant changes you. You become a new creature, and the Holy Ghost lives in you, and He's working for you, working on your behalf. How would you like to be at the right place at the right time with the right words? It'll never happen if you don't become acquainted with the Holy Ghost. If it does happen, it was accidental. You say, well, I can't believe I got that right. That happens sometimes. Now, the Holy Ghost has an assignment. He's there working. He's not just watching. And that's in verse 26, to be the Comforter, which is the Holy Ghost. Which the Father will send in my name, He shall teach you all things. He's the teacher. You know, we had a gentleman here came years ago, and he preached on Matthew 9, and he preached from the centurion servant. The centurion servant was very ill, and he sent his people out to get Jesus to come, and then he decided he didn't want Jesus to come to his house. He says, you don't have to come to my house. Just speak the word only. You just say so. And Jesus, I've not seen so great faith in all of Israel. He was actually a Jewish soldier. Well, when he got down to this verse that I'd read over for years, when he got through explaining it, I was like flabbergasted that I'd never understood that. He explained it so well. But Holy Ghost was in him teaching us, and the Holy Ghost was in me, stirring me to hear what he said. And that makes such a difference. And when I heard what he said, I thought, what a difference he makes in your life. Now, we didn't know the Holy Ghost where I came from church. At least I didn't. I've been in church since church nursery. It's been in church all my life. And my sister and I, my brother is quite a bit younger, we sat on the front row right there. Daddy was a musician. He's behind the pulpit. And when Daddy gave an order, he said, you girls don't move, you don't wiggle, You stand when we stand, you sit when we sit, and you don't ever talk and you don't ever say anything. Is that clear? Now, my daddy spoke. That's what he meant. And my sister made a mistake. She spoke. See, when the Holy Ghost speaks to you, he's not made any mistakes. He's told you what will work for you, what God sees. And if you follow him, and if you cling to that. Now, when Holy Ghost speaks, I'd like it to be instant. I love instant. But as I've showed you many times, when you make your request, let's just make it here at the cross, and you make a request, and you'd like it to come to pass right there. That's one day. And I like that myself. But sometimes it's days before it comes to pass. But see, we don't give up, we don't quit, we don't relinquish. God has spoken by the Spirit. He's spoken to my heart. I know what he said. I'm not going to give up, I'm not going to quit. He said, by Jesus' stripes you were healed. Amen. Now that's the way it is. Yes. Now, your medical report may not say, by Jesus' stripes you were healed. In fact, never seen one that did. But your first line of information is God the Holy Ghost. Every time. All the time. I had one doctor say to me, because I refused something. I don't refuse very often. That sounds like I do, but I really don't refuse very often. But I do run everything through my spirit. I make sure God and I are in agreement with you. And I know you had a medical degree, and I don't have a medical degree, but I do know God. And he does live in me. And he is the source of my information, the source who teaches me, the source who reveals things to me. Teach me all things and bring all things to my remembrance. Now that is so important as you get older. How many times you stood in front of the refrigerator and you couldn't remember why you were there? Well, maybe some of you are smarter than I am, but I know if I stand there long enough and draw from my spirit, Holy Ghost is in here. He knows why I opened the door. Amen. And sometimes it's because I meant to open the pantry instead of the refrigerator. Have you ever done that? But there's someone on the inside working on the outside, someone on the inside working on the outside. He's in there, and he's there to put you over. Every single time he'll put you, if you'll listen, if you'll hear and obey. And he's going to teach you